I want my Rockland World Radio, baby. It's not just radio, it's Rockland World Radio. RocklandWorldRadio.com.
Welcome to the Anatoly D Experience on Rockland World Radio every Tuesday evening at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Be sure to check out the archives for past programs, and you can click on the chat room button by looking on the chat room button. And now, the host of the Anatoly D Experience, Anatoly D.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you survived the Oscars, which was way too long a show. I mean, going to the Oscars was like sitting on the JetBlue flight. It's like sitting on the runway for 4 hours waiting for something to take off. And I don't know about you, but I've had enough of singing Captain Kirk with... Who is the host on it again? The guy, the writer from... my God, that shirt looks great on television. It's well, you know, I want to see Life of Pi, which is very rare to see a movie which has in the title a mathematical algebraic equation and a dessert in one title. Did you see Life of Pi?
I think they originally wanted to entitle it Life of 3.141579.
No, that was first draft. they narrowed it down in the rewrite.
Now, did they hurt any apple pies in the production of Life of Pi? I didn't see the
I'll
the
tell
film.
you, when there's a big scene where the ship sinks with all zoo animals, with the exception of orangutan, a tiger, and Lindsay Lohan. There was a bonding experience between this kid and tiger on the boat. And he was on a boat with a tiger. But I'll tell you, I would have chosen to be on boat with a tiger rather than a Carnival cruise.
I thought you were going to say you'd rather be on a boat with a tiger than Lindsay Lohan.
No, well,
Which...
no, I don't think. Not Lindsay. Well, actually, you know, gas prices are so high now. They're so high. How are they, Anatoly? Well, they are so high, Lindsay Lohan has to choose whether she can drink and drive. No longer at the same time. She can no longer get into a car and start chug-a-lugging down. Man, that's a woman who should be in program. I don't think there's enough programs. She's got to have at least 10, 15 addictions.
I wouldn't even start to count. I just want to know if she's got a sex addiction problem, and I'll see if I can square her away.
Let's put it this way. If you can put the word addiction, she's got it. She's got every possible addiction. But, you know, there was a scene in Life of Pi where there's a bonding between the character, skinny Indian kid, and the tiger. And the tiger gets out of boat when they hit New Mexico and goes into woods, and the kid is devastated. He's got abandonment issues. And I was so broken up, I did a raid at Cheesecake Factory. I got into the thought of pie, and I said, my God, I don't know. So we've got the new sponsor for the Anatoly, soon-to-be famous Anatoly D show. And that is Hogan's Diner in Nyack. We're going to be showing commercial, and it will be very expensive. No expense was spared on Hogan's Diner commercial. We do it first rate. So if you want to advertise on this show, you're nuts, but we'll do a great commercial for you. Don't worry about it. Anyway, yes, so there was a meteor last week in Soviet Union, hit down the Ural Mountains. It was 10,000 pounds. 10,000. Everyone thought it was John Goodman, but no, it wasn't. It was this massive thing. But we got, fortunately, the first on-air auction of fragments of authentic meteor that hit Soviet Union. This is not pet rock. for all you people out there thinking it might be. This was flying through space. Thank you very much. These are segments of actual meteor that have descended from dark hole in space to hit PS 298 in downtown Chechnya. In fact, many people went to hospital. Thousands of people went to hospital. They didn't know whether it was from meteor or they got off a Carnival cruise. Second time in show I used punchline. This didn't work that well. That's what they said in Johnny Carson 101. Don't use punchline twice in one show or you'll live to regret it. But anyway, so if anybody wants to put bid on this authentic space specimen that went through Van Allen radiation belt, that went through thousands of degrees of heat entering Earth's atmosphere. I mean, my God, it was hotter than the set of Jersey Licious in last season. Please call. What's the number for show that we have? 845 353 2910. Of course, if I had my ginkgo biloba today, I would remember that. But what can I tell you? So, Joe, how are you today?
I'm good. I'm fascinated by the not the pet rock over here. And may I hold one?
You can,
Oh.
but make sure you give it back. We're watching you.
We don't have a toll-free number. We can't afford a toll-free number.
It's not high-budget show. No.
The call 1-800-HOT-ROCK.
Well, listen, this is the secret. People don't know this, but it's a bid put in. First bid put in already for $5 from Haverstraw Brick Museum. They really want it.
This truly is a piece of history, and I remember many years ago getting a gift from a friend after the Berlin Wall collapsed or was taken down.
I think that's the
whatever.
first bid.
And it came in a velvet pouch and in a box with documentation that it was official. And I'm assuming that we have some official documentation saying
Well,
that this is
I've got it
official.
outside in the trunk of car. I was printing it up today. Hello, this is caller to Anatoly D Show. Are you there? Did you go somewhere to distant galaxy?
Hey, I'm using hands-free technology.
Well, that's great. I'm using hands-free technology also, but I'm coming very close. Who might I
Nice
have?
to hear from you.
Who might I have pleasure to speaking to?
This is Larry.
Larry, oh my God. This is Larry, the official sex therapist of the Anatoly D Show. Ooh. He's working.
Who was the competition?
Well, actually, there isn't any competition, Larry, but...
All right, I'll still take it as a win. I'll still take that.
Say hello to Joe.
Hey, Joe.
Hi, Larry. Is that why you're using a hands-free device to free your hands up for other things?
Ventures.
Ventures.
Yeah,
Ventures,
plus I
that's
could
the word,
I
ventures.
feel more important when I have hands-free. You know, people don't bother you as much.
So I understand that you're working on new type of non-erotic clothing to keep sex from ever happening.
Oh yeah. I'm working on having a condom that comes half open. The wrapper's already open, so it's ready to go.
Because I know when you were here last time, you were afraid of condoms losing moisture.
Yes.
How are you able to do this with condoms so it stays moist during that crucial time when you take it out of that? Also, you have to have glow in the dark instructions for putting condom on, because what happens, you telling me what happened, you don't know whether to roll down which side.
Right. Yeah. You
So
don't
if
want to
you're
put it on
rolling
backwards.
down which side of condom, you're not knowing which some, like you got the wrong side. You've got to say, "Excuse me, honey, I've got to take it out and put it back on again." So it's got to be clear in the dark of how to get the right roll.
It's a lot of pressure. It's like diffusing a bomb.
It's like using what, a mop?
A
I
bomb, you know?
never use mop during sex.
That's after.
Oh, after sex. Well, it depends how excited you are. Sometimes if for a couple of months, if you get backed up, but that's another question. Okay, let's see. So what's going on there? How's your sex therapy practice coming along?
You know, I practice a lot. Sometimes I practice with another person. And
by himself or with a
Yeah.
partner.
Didn't you say that you're writing a book called Safe Sex? Avoid it completely?
That's 100%. That's the way to go. If you want 100%, just don't have it. You'll be fine.
Yeah, so you just basically you're saying just forget it for the rest of life.
Yeah.
Just do not have sex anymore, and you'll be fine.
Think of mental health. Just focus on sleeping more, sex less.
How much sleeping do you think you should do? Do you believe this guy?
I just got cured of sleep apnea.
How did you do that? Pray tell.
I got my tonsils taken out.
You did? Oh my
Yeah.
God! So now you could finally sing soprano in the choir.
Yeah.
That's good.
Now, did quick question? Did you get all the ice cream that you could eat or that you wanted? As
No,
part
I
of the
wanted
recovery?
to, but I'm lactose, so I couldn't get any. I asked my mom. I went there with my mommy, and she said, no ice cream, honey.
Great. No sex, no ice cream. What?
So there was a play a couple of years ago called Vagina Monologues, which I thought was very emotional because it talked about the women's vagina like it was a very good friend. Then you had the puppetry of the penis. Are you working on any show like in terms of like my dick is asleep forever or something like that?
My dick in his retirement. Yeah, it's retiring early, like my 401k.
My mind's on vacation. My balls are working overtime.
Do you have any specifics, maybe sex questions I could help you with?
Yes, I'd like to know.
Any of you guys are
How
dealing
do
with?
you know when you're with a woman when the moment is right?
Ooh, woman is right for sex.
Yeah, because I know that you're talking about when you can find the moment is right to make the move.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for that moment.
But you said that what you do is you when the woman comes over, you get her a pair of slippers, you make her hot chocolate, you ask her if she likes
you're bringing
the color.
back bad memories. You're bringing back bad memories. I was trying to act cool here. You're bringing out the truth.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
you've got
Okay, fine. I'll admit it. A woman comes over, and I stall.
for a week, right?
I stall.
That's crashing
I
burn.
basically turn into my mother, and I just start offering all kinds of things besides sex. Would you like some seltzer? Would you like a beverage? Want to put your feet up? You want to watch The Good Wife?
Do you put the beverage in Flintstone glasses?
I'm like, yeah. You know what's also sexy? When you tell a girl she needs a coaster. That really turns them on.
Yeah, well, that's right, because you don't want to have those telltale glass rings on your coffee table. I mean, my God, what would that do? Let me ask you a question. When you're talking to the woman, are you relating to the old primal brain, or are you relating to the new brain? Because the old primal brain is where the whole sexual attraction happens. It's not from saying, well, I've got 401k, or I'm working as middle manager for Deloitte & Touche.
Deloitte & Touche, yeah.
Yeah,
I don't
you're
work
not
there.
talking so much from like, you got to make her feel like, isn't that true, Joe? You meet women, you've got to create a subconscious connection, like you're emotionally connected to a woman, and you're.
I've taken a cue, actually. You'll appreciate this. I understand that Putin has invited the R&B group Boys to Men to come to Russia to perform because he feels that the birth rate's declining, and he thinks that the smooth, love-making sounds of Boys to Men.
At the end of the road.
There you go. What girl could refuse to drop her panties when she hears Boys to Men singing? And so Putin is, he's being socially responsible by inviting them to Russia to perform and encourage procreation everywhere.
They could have sex with Pussy Riot.
Boys to Men and Pussy Riot,
That-
live
that-
in
that's-
concert.
That's what I call from the Gulag. Live from Gulag. Boys to Men and Pussy Riot. My God, I can't contain my enthusiasm.
I've listened to Boys to Men before.
While making love?
Yeah, I've also listened to Sade. But when I first bought the CD, I didn't know that was how you pronounce it. Like, you want to listen to some Sade?
That
Like,
sounds
what?
too much
Sade.
like sadism.
Really good music.
Yeah, it
Sade.
doesn't exactly Sade. Like, who are you going to see tonight in concert? Well, we're seeing Sade.
That's a good test, though. You say that, and if she comes out with a black leather gimp mask on, you know you've got it set.
Well, that's a good question. I'm glad you brought up sexual accoutrement, if that's for lack of better word. So, excuse me, we're disrespecting the space specimens here that we've got to make sure are prominently seen so someone could go and pay us $5,000. You know, it's funny, my uncle during the Meteor, he actually went out to break windows of his house because he knew that the state would pay him more than it would cost him to fix windows. But anyway, so Larry, do you ever put on gimp mask and walk around with leather, like from Pulp Fiction, and hide?
Oh, that was a great movie.
What?
That was a great movie.
What about dresses? Do you ever put on Scottish dress and like put on maid's costume and tramps around apartment?
You know, I would do that.
I think I'm losing Larry.
That sounds a little more like Silence of the Lambs than.
Put the lotion in the bottle.
Well, that's the whole thing. Maybe Larry is really a serial killer.
Do you
He
have
could be like Hannibal Lecter. We don't know.
Do you have a pit or a cave or something where you live, Larry?
No, that's where I grew up, and I got out of there. I also call that New Jersey.
Oh.
Where did you lose your virginity, if I might?
Oh,
be so
fantastic question.
It's boldest to inquire.
Well,
Well, give me a good answer. I need a rest.
The inquiring minds want to know.
No, I actually lost my virginity in St. Louis.
And well, tell me about it. Was it like I lost my virginity under the $2 Sears Roebuck plastic tarp?
No, I remember.
It's
I was
true story.
Clean up in aisle 3?
No, it was in Gloucester. We had contraceptive foam. So we didn't have condoms. It was like contraceptive foam where you spray it in there, and the woman says the worst 3 words that she says, "Are you in yet?" And you don't even know when you're in because the contraceptive foam just numbs everything out. I mean, it's like somehow sex and Barbara shaving cream should never be together unless it's on top of a cake. But sorry, like we're interrupting us. So how did you lose your virginity?
February 19th, 1994.
Wow.
Okay.
You remember
Bill
the
Clinton
date?
was in office first term. Kurt Cobain had just died, but his music was still living on. I remember looking at the clock. I inserted myself at 1:51, and I was done at 1:51. And all was in that minute.
But that minute was 1,000 violins exploded in your head.
And I remember when I rolled over, I was so happy.
Maybe
and I
when
thought
you
it was so
collided.
smooth. And I said to her, you know, that was my first time. And she rolled over and she goes, I know.
That
For
sounds
some
like my
reason,
mother. Were you having sex with my mother? My God.
For some reason, I had sex with John Lovitz. I don't know why.
What?
I know.
Yeah, that's great. So that basically jaded you forever. Did you get a second chance? I mean, did you were able to recover and?
Oh yeah, I was ready like 5 minutes later. You know, you wait like 19 years, you're ready to go right after.
And how was the second time?
Second time, I thought it was much better. You know, I felt a little more comfortable.
And that
Maybe that was like 5 minutes.
That was 5 minutes.
5
You went
minutes?
the big 5.
That's a pretty big. That's like a 500% increase right there.
Well,
Statistically speaking, that's impressive, actually.
If I could have stayed at that trajectory, I would have been. I wouldn't be here right now.
it's like the old Rodney Dangerfield joke.
I would be teaching a class.
My wife loves to have sex in the back seat with me driving, but I digress. What about you? What was your first sexual experience?
The where or the when or the how?
Everything.
How Larry wants to know.
Well, surprisingly,
I got the hands free on. Come on.
Ironically enough, I believe my first sexual experience was a little earlier than yours, but also in Missouri, Springfield,
Wow.
Missouri, on the floor next to this girl's bed, and I think it was somewhere in the 1 minute mark. My very similar story, 1 minute, rolled over. I think I actually said I'm sorry, which that's generally not the kind of thing you want to tell a girl ever, really. but I got my shot at redemption, and I think I went the 5-minute mark or so second time around.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. Anatoly, your turn.
Well, I basically lost my virginity through the Village Voice. What happened was I put an ad in the
Village
Voice.
People?
No, not Village People. We want you. We want you. We want you for the new. I didn't know whether they were saying we want you. We want you. I didn't know. Please buy this rock, famous Meteor rock from space. We're opening bids at $5. Right now, Haverstraw Brick Museum is in the lead. Don't be left out. Anyway, so I went to Village Voice, and then this woman comes to house, and she says, listen, I'm 18, which was a lie. She was 16. Actually, she was like 15 and a half.
Wow.
But I was
Did you have to pay extra for that?
I didn't-
I'm sorry.
That's
I didn't mean
very
to say
cruel.
That. That was
very
awful.
hitting below belt. Yes, I did. Now that you mention it. But the thing about it was that she left Village Voice on bed in her room in Merrick, Long Island. So she left home to say, well, I'm going to have sex with a wild Russian guy. And she left. So, Mom, if I'm not home by 2 o'clock next Wednesday, don't wait up. So the parents called police, and they said, hey, we're looking for this guy, Anatoly D. He's taking daughter to New England. And then we went to Gloucester, Massachusetts, got under a Sears Roebuck tent. We used contraceptive foam. It was like putting Valium on dick. It was like putting Valium. It was horrible, very bad.
Can't say I know what that feels like.
Yeah,
so,
it's very good.
I'll have to try that when I get home.
And so I call up social worker. Is Larry gone from? Okay, listen, Larry, we're going to close this off because we've got to do commercial for Hogan's Diner.
Oh, okay.
But listen,
what
thank you
should I
very
do?
much for calling up, and we also have the fifth Beatle, who was never ever in Beatles, but he has very colorful career. So
Am I saying goodbye?
You're saying goodbye, and we'll talk to you soon.
Enjoy the ball gag, Larry. Use Purell.
Can I tell you the difference between Jews, the British, and the Yiddish? The British leave and don't say goodbye.
You
The
can't
Jews-
you can't keep a good man down.
The Jews say goodbye and never leave. But I'll leave. I will go against that stereotype.
Well, we'll talk to you soon.
All right. Thanks so much, guys.
Good night.
Wow, that's great. Well, we're going to pause for a station identification, for lack of a better term, from our great new sponsor, Hogan's Diner. Let me tell you something. I was on Hogan's Diner last week, and they've got the borscht that can choke a horse. In fact, there was a dead horse in the middle of the diner. But what can I tell you? It puts hair on you on places that shouldn't even have hair. So go in and see George, and then he'll be able to set you. They've got the great thing called the Nyack salad, which is wonderful because there he goes.
A quarter of a mile from the Palisade Center and a block off exit 11 of the New York State Thruway is Rockland's favorite diner, Hogan's Nyack Diner, where the elite meet to eat.
I come to Hogan's Nyack Diner for the friendly atmosphere, the great food, the generous portions, and the reasonable prices.
Hogan's Nyack Diner offers senior discounts, breakfast and lunch specials. Come see why we're the hometown favorite.
We love Hogan's Nyack. Yay!
I'm a little confused. Where's Colonel Klink? Hogan?
Hello, Anatol.
Oh, yes. Hello. Yes, you're calling
This
me.
is a call from Russia. Russia calling for you.
Hello?
Oh, my God. It's my sister, Sonia.
No, this is Virichka Bogdanovich from Belarus, Russia. Now I have very serious thing to say to you.
Yeah, I'm listening.
You took my meteor rock. That is mine.
It wasn't your meteor rock. I got it from.
mine.
I got it from backyard after a meteor hit
No.
18-foot crater. It wasn't your rock. You always accusing me of stealing everything.
And your thieves. You
She always
take from
does it.
mine.
She always accuses me of stealing from this. Last time she said I took thong, then I took brazier. Now she says I take rock. Listen,
I don't care no more. I'm telling you, you're going to have one day to return meteorite to me, or I'm going to send Big Vladimir going to kick your ass.
Well, let me tell you, I've got bigger borders who's going to kick Vladimir's ass.
No, let me tell you, Vladimir, I've been feeding him lots of potatoes. He is as big as house. Huh? I'm talking to you. You want to sell that meteorite to you?
These are not your rocks. These are for...
Yes, no, that is my rock. Pick up rock. You see little...
He's not your rock.
Pick up the big rock.
He's not rock! You're not getting this rock back! My God, my blood pressure is going through...
Let me tell you, Buster,
trying to take
I
rock.
have friends in Brighton Beach. They
God,
told
grant me
me
serenity
you're
to
going
accept
to
things
help them.
cannot change. Courage to change things can, and wisdom to know difference.
Listen.
So I guess the message to
Listen,
viewers and
Anatoly,
callers,
don't break
order now.
my heart.
Order her now before she gets her mitts on
Order
these
what? Order
authentic
bullets.
space
Vladimir?
rock. Your woman's
Vladimir.
crazy. Listen to her. She's going on
Get
like
big gun,
cackling
Vladimir.
from, like, I don't know, rooster is some barnyard animal.
Oh, my God. Vladimir is getting gone now. He be there tomorrow, and you be shot in ass. Huh?
Well, fortunately for me, I've got big enough ass to absorb the bullet, so you're getting...
Well, now
I have no
you say
problem.
something makes sense. But
Let me just ask
you
you one question. Doesn't this blue shirt look good on video? I think it does. But anyway. Yeah, well,
Let
listen,
me tell you.
you cannot prove
When I put-
you cannot prove that this is your pet rock.
I can't prove. I got DNA.
You can't prove. You're not taking this.
I have DNA on that rock, and let me tell you, Buster, to sell my rock from Russia, your country, in stupid Brighton Beach. How dare you?
How can you have DNA from Meteor? This is from
I have
outer
DNA on
space.
rock.
This was floating around through black hole of space, through universe, going from various solar systems, castigating
tell
through
you.
rings of Saturn, going through Orion Nebula. It does not have any inherent DNA. It is not like
That
finding
is
old
my
ski
rock.
on a mountain somewhere in Switzerland and then doing testing to find out what type of eating he had 15 years ago. It is authentic
want to
space
bring up-
meteor rock.
I want to tell you, I don't want to bring up sensitive subject, but you know the word defect? Did you defect from my country, and now you defect my rock?
No, we're not defecting from rock. The rocks have no...
You,
This is like, I feel like this should be space show. We're pointing out the various inconsistencies from one meteor to other, which creates organic identity of rock. It is, you can't just, this is like priceless.
I have video. Marushka, my friend, was videotaping from her window in the snow, and she sees you and your gangsters come with hood on and took my rock.
You know,
I see it.
I think you're off your meds. Have you been taking your Paxil? I think you're a couple of days behind dosage.
I don't need that. I have my vodka. I don't need to.
Yeah,
take
right.
that
You've
wrong.
got your vodka. We know you've got your vodka. It is the booze talking. Listen, we've got
That
to
is
put on the
nothing wrong
fifth
with
Beatle
vodka.
in a little while.
Now, why don't you sell vodka to your friends in Brighton Beach and give me back my rock?
Well, listen, we'll talk later. Right now,
we
this
will
is,
talk nothing.
there's a heavy,
Vladimir,
there's heavy
Vladimir
bidding
is
on
go-
this from the Haverstraw Brick Museum. They're wanting this. They're it's like $5 bid right now. We're waiting for the phone to ring.
$5. Oh, Anatoly, you know, for $5 you break my heart. You are no good. I'm tying up, and I'm going to tell you this now. Me and all my friends in Russia, we will never talk to you again. Don't step foot in my country because you are nothing no more. I have to go. Goodbye. You break my heart.
Wow, was that a threat or a promise?
It was a promise. It was promise.
Very good, very good.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, you know it. What can you do? You can't. family relationships can be loaded. And clearly, this one, she's not only. It's not only the family relationship is loaded, she's pretty damn loaded as well. Where did they get 9 sheets into the wind? Where is it? How come it's
I
that?
think maybe she did get hit in the head with one of these
I think
rods.
so. I think part of Meteor hit her while she was at sewing.
That would
circle.
explain the DNA reference.
Yeah, it was very misplaced because rocks don't have inherent DNA. It's not, it's like a rock. It is a meteor. It's like.
But I'm sure our listeners can test it themselves if they'll call now and order.
That's right. You'll be able to take this space meteor and put it through any testing to assess authenticity in terms of radiation levels. Come to think of it, ever since it's been on desk, I can feel myself getting very sexually excited to rock. So clearly, there's and it's wonderful. It's like the green background of it's great. It really sets off the rock thing. It looks like they're boulders on the plains of Nevada. It's like if you're flying over massive mountains through flyover country, and and this is incredible boulder in the middle of Iowa. All we need is some crop circles on table. We'll be set.
It looks like an old science fiction television show, but then all of a sudden you see the finger come into the huge boulder.
That's right. You are mine. We're going to take over rest of the universe. First aerial mountains, then Moscow, covered by one mess. It's 10,000 pound stone that hit. It's not just like a couple of stones from space debris and like a couple of pebbles, like 3 coins in the fountain. It was mess. It was like Greyhound bus. It was hitting Russia.
So how many of these do you have now?
That's it.
That's it?
So far, unless we get more bids, then we'll be able to, I'm sure, find some more. So listen, why don't you come over here? We've got a special guest tonight. We've got Frank, who's...
All right. Woo, yeah.
Very nice to be here, Lord. I'm excited. So thank you.
Frank was the 5th Beatle.
That's right, yeah.
But you never exactly performed with the Beatles, or you did a couple of bar mitzvahs, or what?
Well, it was in the beginning, we played a few places in London. Then we had a breakup, I had an argument with John one night, and John told me to fuck off, and that was it. They fired me. I had a big resentment, for about a year. But then I went into mountain climbing, as you know, Andrew, and that's one of my professions today. Besides running the Weight Watchers in Luanza,
So let me ask you a question. Do you find yourself having to get in shape before you climb mountains?
Yes, lots of exercise, weights, diet, which is a pain in the ass. I'm not a young guy anymore. I'm 62, it's fucking hard, But anyway, I'm having a good time with it. I've lost 100 pounds. And
what are the mountains that you've climbed?
I've climbed Mount Everest and Mount Paco, and I also climbed a few mountains in Ireland.
I didn't know they had mountains in
They
Ireland.
have in the bar,
No, we're not talking about metaphorical. You see, we've got to understand the audience from the show is very literate. They're very quick on uptake. So they understand when you do allusions to metaphorical imagery like bar or some type of.
I'll keep it simple.
You've got to keep it. Well, you've got to keep it literal because it's a very literal type of audience. So,
all right.
How long did it take you to climb Mount Everest?
It took me 2 days.
2 days.
2 days.
It takes people how long? Like 2 weeks? Or?
Even with Sherpas.
Well,
without Sherpas.
Did you have Sherpa?
No, I went up with my wife. And we had a good time, and we got up early, we were in a hurry, so we got up real fast.
Well, what about your oxygen levels?
The oxygen was pretty hard at times, but
You held your breath, is that it?
I did, yeah.
Right, okay, well, so you what is the other mountain you climbed, Count?
Montbigo in Dowanerland.
What?
Montbigo, that's in Australia. It's one of the second biggest, I think it's over 20,000 feet up,
So what did you use for food when you?
I was actually drinking beer. I didn't eat food. I brought a case of beer, Budweiser, which was nice.
Right. So you basically.
Who carried the beer?
The wife.
Oh,
Nancy
okay,
carried it. She likes to carry things.
She was your pack mule.
Yes.
And Sherpa.
I'm very beautiful too, like.
Wow.
Do you know what Sherpa is?
I don't know. Could you tell me?
Well, a Sherpa is a guide who's able to guide you up the
Oh,
mountain.
a shepherd. I
No,
didn't
no,
understand your accent.
Sherpa.
A shepherd?
No, not the shepherd, the
Sherpa.
Sherpa.
A shepherd.
Sherpa.
Sherpa is like a
Oh,
guide
all
for a
right. I
mountain.
didn't get your accent. Where are you from? I'm just curious with that accent. You
Eastern Chechnya.
Oh, Cheston. All
That's
right.
right.
So long you been in America, like, you know?
Listen, I'm the guy asking you the question.
sorry.
So what's going on with Beatles? How,
Well,
did you ever play? Did you ever? What you play guitar, right?
I played the guitar, bass. I also played the drums, and Ringo is still a good friend of mine. I was with him 2 weeks ago in England, and we were having a couple of drinks, and we talk about the old days. But he felt bad about the breakup, like, you know. He wanted me to come back, actually. But that's the way it was. Like, I moved on. So, like, climbing mountains just came really... I loved
So
the
you
climb.
were with the Beatles right before like the first major one
Yeah,
with Meet the Beatles.
before they made the big
She
one.
loves you, yeah. It was like.
Well, I sat in on that, like, I was a backup singer that night. That was in '62. That was outside Wembley, actually, and quite nice, you know. We got drunk that night. I remember George had an argument with Paul about the bass, but...
he did.
Yes, they argued
So
quite a
at the
bit.
time, did you understand that you wanted to become a mountain climber?
Well, I did and I didn't, like, you know. I always liked to climb before I met the Beatles.
But
you know.
were you upset when they hit it big and they were making millions of dollars?
was, a
and you
little
were
bit.
back in Liverpool trying to put £5 together to pay the electric bill?
Well, I was homeless, you know, for a year, and I remember one time I called John up, and John says, come on over, I'll throw you a few bob, like, you know, a few shillings, whatever. So I went over, he gave me £5, then he told me to take a walk, and that was it. They didn't want nothing to do with me. They totally abandoned me.
So
like,
you
know.
probably were suicidal at that point.
I got onto drugs, actually, and a lot of booze. I was a Guinness drinker, like, you know, and hung out with a lot of Irish guys, you know, a lot of mix and stuff. And
You hung out with Irish guys?
guys, blokes, you know, like,
I
blokes.
didn't know Irish guys. I thought all Irish were guys. I didn't know any Irish Jews.
You got me there.
Are you buying this story from this guy?
No, but I do want to know. I understand, according to rumor, that some of the disagreement that you had with the other fellas in the band was that you felt that they should be using the cowbell more, and they
Poor
didn't
cowbell.
seem to, they didn't seem to agree with you on that. What's your take on the?
Well, that's not controversial. Like, I think that came up in the media. I think about a week later, I wanted them not to use the bell. That was John's idea. Actually, Ringo said he wanted to use a drumstick, and in a way that would be more sound effect. But I heard about that controversy. I didn't get to know that for 10 years later. You know, the Beatles were a great bunch of lads, but I think what happened was I was the best looking guy in the group, and I think there was a lot of jealousy. I got all the good looking girls, and I mean, Paul, a very resentful guy, come up to me at times. He says, you know, you got to pay attention. You're not showing up on time for the groups. So we had a lot of resentments going down.
So now you went from being mountain climber to opening up the first Weight Watchers franchise in
Yes.
sub-Saharan Africa.
Very proud of that.
Why did you choose that location?
Good question. The taxes are low. There's a lot of overweight people over there.
Yeah, but you've
They
got a
eat
lot
too
of
much.
people on the verge of death who haven't had a meal in weeks.
Well, they eat. Some of them are eating the wildebeest now. They eat the zebra. They're very.
Oh, really? How many points does zebra have on the Weight Watchers scale?
I would say about 6,000 points.
Because you've got the point system. What about bison? Because remember, when I was in the Soviet Union, we had, in the former Soviet Union, we had women, big as bison steer,
yes.
that were from Soviet Farm Worker magazine, that were centerfold. So I'm very aware of bison as an animal.
Well, they are an animal, but you know what? We were eating. We had to eat what we could get our hands on, like, you know. But anyway, I ran it for.
So how much success did you have with Weight Watchers in sub-Saharan Africa?
Well, actually, we had no success. Well, some of it, we lost a lot of guys over there. A lot of guys took heart attacks, and
they just couldn't stand the calorie. Is it the calorie restriction that they couldn't take?
There was no.
There was no calories at all. Is that what you're saying?
They enjoyed completely.
They just dropped.
They not.
They showed up Weight Watchers meeting and keeled over.
They had nothing to eat at all. Everything went out like.
Jeez, is it rice or
Well,
rice?
Mostly meat all the time, you know.
I see they lost the weight running after the gazelle and the cheetahs and the things like
Of course,
that. Right?
yeah, that's
Well,
what they
that'll
did,
burn up
run
a lot
around.
Why didn't they just go after the bison? They just go.
Don't mention bison.
knock it
It
over
reminds me of a bad puberty experience. The number to call, please. Time is running out on Rock. So,
Yes,
did you opened up edible arrangements
I did, yes.
right there in sub-Saharan Africa where you have no fruit to make up bouquet
I
with.
know, it's strange, isn't it?
You put yourself through great challenges.
I like a good challenge, like, you know, that's who I am, like, you know, and we had done a great time, you know, with the fruits and veggies, and they all loved them, like.
You know, edible arrangements they make out of cantaloupe and strawberries like flowers you put in basket.
Do they?
But you
are
need
they-
to have produce to be able
Are
to
they the
do.
ones that do the thong made of licorice also?
No, that's edible undies.
Oh,
You're thinking.
so
You see, you
close,
can't
so
get
close.
him out of Gotham. You
need
can't
that
get his
You need that toothpick.
edible
You're a very
undies.
funny guy.
Who the hell wants to have edible undies? I mean, my God, it's like
How do we ever get so far?
it's like you know edible undies. It's like do you really want to eat someone? Well, maybe you do.
I don't know.
Can I do it in
Depends, yeah,
depends
that's
on
true.
who,
It
depends
depends
on
on
who.
you.
Can I do an
It's true.
impression? Can I do an impression for you?
No, we're still talking
Oh,
about.
let's
They're
look-
talking
all right.
about sub-Saharan Africa.
I just wanted to let you know.
We are,
talented I
no,
am,
it's
like.
not. No, don't no oppression. You just listen.
Okay.
I'm very disturbed about the fact you had such a high death rate
I know.
at Weight Watchers.
It's terrible, like, you know. I today, even to sue me today, the families, like, we lost 25 people 1 month.
So you knocked off more people than Jim Jones
Oh, yes,
with Kool-Aid many years ago.
But right now I'm on the run, like, I've been on the run for 12 years.
That's why
now.
you show up on internet
I
television.
show up, but don't
Are
tell
you making
nobody.
commentary about my show like you figured it's safe to show up on this
I
show?
think so.
Who's watching? So I'll show up here.
You've only got 20 people in the audience, like, you know.
Well, it's a slow night.
You pay them all to come here. Oh, I'm sorry.
That's Pietro Tarasco.
I think he's secretly hoping Paul McCartney's listening. out
That's
there
right.
And,
Maybe
and going to reach out
and
to
he's
help
going
him
to
out.
yeah, he's going to say, listen, we
Sure.
want him back.
How's the gown, Paul? Give us a call, will you? I need £20. I talked to Ringo. He said call him tomorrow.
He's trying to come back in good graces of Beatles.
Stop it, will you?
So,
Love your
are you
show,
doing
by the
any?
way.
Are you doing any gigs in New York?
Yeah,
Any-
I'm doing a few impressions. I started to do some impressions, you know, like...
do you do any songs?
I do, yes.
Let's why don't you play a song?
All right.
Play a song for the guys.
I'd love to.
Be careful with strap.
Okay.
It's very insured. It's not easy. I could see one of the Beatles threw him out. By the time they were ready to sing, they. Okay.
All you need is love all together.
We don't. Yeah, it's a left-handed guitar.
Are we going Scarborough Fire? Wave your hand in the air. Will you come back with me?
Okay, that's enough. Thank you.
Oh, thank you very
That's
much.
great.
I'm a little rusty, bloke, you know.
Yeah, just a tad.
All that drinking over the years, bloke, you know.
Just a
Maybe,
little
maybe
bit.
sticking to Weight Watchers.
I
and,
think I will.
Rock climbing. Or
Well, actually, my next plan
So what's your next project?
My next project is to be a director. I want to direct a film, like, you know, in a 12-step environment and get everyone's stories, like how they got sober, like. So we got 4 guys who are sober that we're going to start working on script. It's just a vision, like, but I think we can expand it.
Well,
and
did
do
you see
something.
the film Flight with Denzel Washington?
Oh, I did. I thought it
About
was
an
extraordinary.
alcoholic flight pilot who's doing cocaine.
Yes, it was.
He almost could have beat the rap in the end of the film. You see the film?
I couldn't get past the first scene with him and the very gorgeous young lady.
Oh, it's
yeah, that
lovely.
was about it.
I like
was
this
done.
great scene where he goes.
Yes. What's an arsenal?
He's good to go.
I think that was Scarface.
Whole
wasn't
line.
it?
Yes, it's great to go.
Yes.
It was like it makes a cocaine lover say, my God, that's a guy who knows how to do blow.
What I really got with the film was his integrity at the end to tell the truth, like. I think that's something wonderful.
But I've never seen film that takes mini bottle of Latvia vodka.
Yeah.
And do long shot on it for like what, 45 seconds. It was just like this. Just like this. It was the camera, Zemeckis, the camera on bottle, 45. You could see the tension build up and it goes boom, and the is gone.
Yes.
You minute to know everything, all hell's breaking loose. They find them, but it's amazing. Good thing about it's a promo actually for restorative powers of cocaine. It's amazing that you could be totally shit-faced and in totally no ability to talk one thing of blow, and you're good to go. You can go out and sell vacuums.
I thought that was the whole sales pitch of vodka by the Russians for so many years. You could do anything.
No, it's not that way.
Man a spacecraft or something like that. I don't know.
Maybe that's what happened.
Russians are crazy
the space center, up in space, they were trying to chip away from Big Rock. They were chipping away at this massive rock, and one guy had some vodka, and wow, the whole 10,000 pounds like Greyhound bus comes crushing to Ural Mountains, past my uncle's house. My God, he didn't know whether it is like, I'm not going to do that joke again about Katy Perry. You see, you thought I was going for it. No, I'm not. Because this is a classy show, ladies and gentlemen. You may not think so, but of course it all depends on how you define class.
Can I interject something like the movie when he flew the plane upside down? He could do that, but he couldn't get sobriety.
Well, that's right. If he were sober, he wouldn't have been able to do it.
I don't think so.
He was only able to do it because he was drunk out of his gourd.
It was awesome.
Well, and CG movie magic had a little help too.
Well, it's a good question. Could that have actually happened in real life? If you
something.
Could it have occurred if you were like you wanted to keep the plane from crashing? Because remember, the plane was going down. It was crashing. The pilot next door to him was having kittens. And he was saying, lower fuel, get rid of gas, full flaps, nose 80 degrees. It was beautiful. It was like he was going on Cross Bronx Expressway in the afternoon. He had like, okay, so the plane's going nose down. Well, let's take this.
I think that's Hollywood too, no, mate? Hollywood is funny, isn't it?
I don't know.
But we had our own little miracle on the Hudson here not too long ago.
I was thinking of that too.
I don't think Sully flew the plane upside down, but he did land it safely on water.
He got points for that, like.
What, like airline points?
Yeah.
20,000
flights. So have you given up on Weight Watchers franchise?
I'm giving it up. I'm wasting my time. Like, most of them doing anyway.
So you don't think you see? What about mountain climbing? You'll be climbing any more mountains?
I might go climb. I'm not sure. Like, I have to talk to my sponsors. I'm not a young guy anymore,
Well, clearly, but you've got so many good years ahead of you. And being
I think so. Another 10,
the
maybe.
superb physical condition that you are, it's a shame to waste it.
Yeah, but the drink, I've been drinking a lot lately. I got drinking there. I don't know. I might have a problem with it.
Well, they've got programs for that.
What kind of programs?
Well, we don't have time.
Okay.
Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, you have survived another soon-to-be famous Anatoly D show. But let me tell you, the bidding is still open, so after we go off the air, remember, call in authentic Russian Meteor, cascading into Ural Mountains, missing my uncle's house by 15 meters. Confusing this with Katy Perry video. Let me tell you, this is Anatoly D history in the making. Until next time, I'll see you at Hogan's Diner, tucking into a Nyack salad and some borscht. Das Vidonier. Be well.
Hogan.
A quarter of a mile from the Palisade Center and a block off exit 11 of the New York State Thruway is Rockland's favorite diner, Hogan's Nyack Diner, where the elite meet to eat.
I come to Hogan's Nyack Diner for the friendly atmosphere, the great food, the generous portions, and the reasonable prices.
Hogan's Nyack Diner offers senior discounts, breakfast and lunch specials. Come see why we're the hometown favorite.
We love Hogan's Nyack. Yay!
It's not just radio, it's Rockland World Radio. RocklandWorldRadio.com.